In a recent article published by Business Standard, Air India CEO and Managing Director Campbell Wilson shared detailed insights into the airline's transformation, challenges with aircraft supply, and broader industry issues. The piece offers a rare, candid look into how the carrier is navigating a global aviation environment still reeling from supply chain constraints, infrastructure pressures, and geopolitical hurdles. In a striking revelation, Wilson confirmed that the airline has leased every single aircraft available on the global secondary market. "We've leased every aircraft available globally, nothing left," he said in an exclusive conversation in New Delhi, highlighting the ongoing challenges facing the aviation sector due to supply chain disruptions and sluggish aircraft production rates. With delays from both Airbus and Boeing persisting, Wilson noted that Air India has already taken delivery of 11 leased 777s, 25 A320s, and will soon receive its 50th whitetail 737. The airline also took 6 whitetail A350s. "We have pretty much consumed all capacity that was out there for immediate availability, whether leased or whitetail. If there was more, we would have taken more," he added. Despite these constraints, Air India's transformation is pressing forward. Since its privatization, the airline has grown from a fleet of fewer than 100 aircraft to around 305 today. The broader group aims to reach approximately 400 aircraft by 2027. Wilson said, "Whether or not we have 400 aircraft, plus or minus a couple, really depends on the pace of those deliveries. That would be in the hands of Airbus and Boeing, not ours. But yes, it will be very much in that ballpark." Fleet modernization is progressing steadily. Wilson shared that about 68% of Air India's narrow-body aircraft upgrades are complete. By the end of this year, minus a couple of planes, the upgrade should be complete, he confirmed. However, 13 narrow-body aircraft that were originally scheduled for retirement will now remain in service a bit longer, pushing their upgrades into 2026. The wide-body modernization is also underway. Currently, 35% of the wide-body fleet is considered modern, including new A350s, recently acquired 777s, and refreshed 777 aircraft. "We will commence the full refit of the 787s this year," Wilson said. "That refresh program will last well into 2027. The pacing is driven not only by the fact that we cannot ground everything at once, but also the supply and certification of seats, particularly first and business class seats. Those have proved more challenging to get completed than anyone had expected." Wilson remains cautiously optimistic about industry-wide recovery in production and supply. "The supply chain is getting progressively better, but it is still slow," he explained. While production rates for aircraft like the 737 and 787 are improving, global output remains constrained, likely for another 3 to 4 years. On the policy front, Wilson reiterated his stance on international flying rights. With Gulf carriers pushing for more access to Indian skies, he made it clear: bilateral entitlements should only expand where there is strong point-to-point demand. Aviation is a catalyst for economic and social development. Every flight brings employment opportunities, facilitates business, and supports tourism. Our effort at Air India is to bring more of that economic benefit to Indian soil, not just for us, but for Indian society, employment, and development, he emphasized. As India signs liberal air service agreements with North America, Australasia, and Europe, Wilson underlined the importance of equality of opportunity. Where such a balance isn't there need to be other considerations. What is the benefit that accrues to India? Meanwhile, the closure of Pakistani airspace continues to impact Air India's long-haul operations. Flights to destinations like Chicago, Toronto, and Washington, D.C. now require refueling stops or reduced payloads. It does cause longer flight times to Europe and North America, Wilson noted. In some cases, it means we either cannot fly non-stop or have to reduce cargo and passenger loads. It's operationally annoying and clearly has a financial implication. Despite this, most North American flights continue to operate non-stop. including routes to New York and San Francisco, though the latter sometimes requires an intermediate stop depending on wind conditions. Operation Sindoor also disrupted Air India's network earlier this year, with 13 of the 32 affected airports being part of its network. The airline had to cancel around 800 flights, affecting nearly 75,000 passengers. While most airports have reopened, Wilson admitted that travel sentiment has been impacted and capacity is returning cautiously. "We were operating 12 flights a day to Srinagar, so it does take a while for those to recover." Wilson also addressed the recent decision by India's Airports Economic Regulatory Authority to impose a higher user development fee on business-class passengers at Delhi and Mumbai airports. "The burden clearly falls more on us because we operate first, business, and premium economy class seats," he said. "It is not clear to me that a different class of passengers uses materially different infrastructure at the airport. Lounges are provided by us. The rest of the infrastructure is largely the same." He acknowledged that while some may argue that premium passengers or corporates can absorb the extra cost, the reality is that it's a cost on the traveler, and that has to be borne by the traveler and/or the airline. The higher the cost we have to bear, the less travel there is going to be, or the less margin there will be for investing in more travel. It has a compounding effect. Looking ahead, Air India is also preparing to launch operations from the upcoming Navi Mumbai airport. However, Wilson stressed that any move must be carefully planned so as not to weaken the carrier's hub at the current Mumbai airport. "We need to be judicious in what routes we move to Navi Mumbai. Those discussions are ongoing, and we will make some announcements in due course." When asked about the potential for Boeing or Airbus to establish final assembly lines in India, Wilson welcomed the idea. More OEM presence in India would be beneficial. "The import and taxation processes add time and cost, which we would rather not incur," he explained. "Our size and scale are a trigger for these companies to want to base themselves here and benefit from India's skilled labor and cost competitiveness." Even amid the challenges, Wilson is looking to the future. He believes aircraft manufacturers must focus on resolving current supply bottlenecks while also preparing for the next generation of aviation technology. "As an industry, we must always be looking at the next step for sustainability, efficiency, and safety," he said. Air India's transformation journey is clearly a massive, complex undertaking, balancing present limitations with a vision for the future. As global supply chains slowly recover, all eyes are on how the airline continues to navigate this crucial period in its history. Stay tuned for daily aviation news, exclusive analysis, and deep dives into the world of commercial aviation, airline orders, and premium air travel. If you're passionate about aircraft, widebody jets, or traveling in style, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss an update.